Hi everyone, and welcome back to Bulletproof by Ashna. Today's video is going to be hand lettering tips. These tips and tricks will spiff up your lettering and make it stand out from the crowd. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So our very first tip to spiff up your writing is baselines. So baselines are just the starting point of everything, and basically they're the lines that you write your letters on. So the first baseline I'm showing you is the typical normal baseline, and it's the straight one. So you're going to draw it in with a pencil and then just write your letters in corresponding to your baseline. The second baseline that I'm drawing here is a curvy baseline. So it's a little more funky, but with your pencil again, you're going to sketch out these wave-like curves, and then with your marker or whatever you're using, you're going to follow the baseline you created to give your lettering a wavy look. The final baseline I'm going to show you is the up and down, and this is my favorite baseline because it is so unique and it is super simple. So you just make two parallel straight baselines, and with your marker you're going to alternate. So the first letter is going to be on the bottom, the second is going to be on the top, the third is going to be on the bottom, and so on and so forth to create this cool look. So there you go, baselines. So number 2 is drop shadows. This is my favorite lettering trick because I use it all the time and it is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So the first drop shadow I'm going to show you is called the floating drop shadow. So this is a normal drop shadow that is floating. There's no really other way to say it, but it is not connected to the letter or word, but floating on its own, side by side to the letter. The second drop shadow is not really, I don't really know what to call it, but I'm just going to call it the sticky drop shadow, even though I don't know if that's actually the real name. So the sticky drop shadow is, like its name, stuck. So as you can see here, the sticky drop shadow is right beside the letter, and it doesn't give it any room to breathe. It's just stuck right on there like glue. Another thing I also wanted to mention was that on the floating drop shadow, I made it thin, and on the sticky drop shadow, I made it thick. And I just wanted to say that you can alternate and do whatever you want for each of these drop shadows. So for those of you who don't know how to do drop shadows, I wanted to include a little tutorial by me on how to do drop shadows. So drop shadows become kind of an instinct after you've done them a lot, but it does have a bit of struggle when you just start off. So drop shadows are, I feel like, easier if you have a different color that you're using for the word. And basically you can draw this with a pencil if you need it, but you can draw a little guide of where your light source is going to be. So I drew a little sun here in the corner, which is usually where you want it to be, and the light source is facing directly towards the letter. So you want to place the drop shadows where the shadows would be, if that makes sense. So you don't want to have it right where the light is, because that's not where shadows are in real life. A friend of mine also told me an analogy. It's kind of like snow showing up on lettering. And you can do it the opposite way as well, with opposite lighting to create a different cool look. Moving on to trick number 3, block letters. So block letters are the chunky, heavy sort of looking letters, and they show up a lot when someone is trying to make their lettering look 3D. So these can be pretty hard, but I have a really simple and easy way to do it. So basically you're going to draw two parallel baselines that are super close together. And you're going to draw your bubble letters on the bottom baseline as I am doing here. You have to do bubble letters for block letters because otherwise you won't get that 3D look. And once you've done that, this is where it gets interesting. So on the top baseline that you created, you're going to be drawing that exact same letter H in this case, but a little bit to the left. So this basically means that your letter is traveling a bit up and a bit to the left. So you're almost making an exact replica with those directions. Once you've done that, you're going to get a fine liner or a pen, and you're going to trace the first set of letters that you made on the bottom baseline. And then you're actually going to connect. So as you can see that what I'm doing here, I'm connecting all the points from the shadowed H to the front H. And it's giving me this really cool 3D look. So it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it, but it's almost like you're making these block letters. Exactly what the title is. So it looks really cool like this, hollowed out, but you can also color it in like I am doing here. And this will give you more of a shadowy vibe that gives your letter even more 3D, popping out of the page sort of look. Okay, so tip number 4 is doodles. This tip is super fun, but also super easy to customize and kind of make whatever you want. It does require a little bit more drawing though. So the first thing you're going to do is, again, write your word, whatever it is. In this case, I am doing the word hearts as an example. So you can do what I'm doing, where I'm coordinating the doodle to the word. So since the word is hearts, I am actually drawing hearts as the doodle inside and kind of spreading them out based on the letter that I'm following. So you can do this, but you can also just do stuff like polka dots or stripes or even stars, whatever you want inside as well. So finally, last but not least, we are on tip number 5, shapes. So shapes is pretty easy, but it makes your lettering look completely different and very unique. So the first thing you have to do is sketch out your letter with pencil, and this is really crucial to do it in pencil because you really don't want to have the letter drawn out normally, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. So then you're going to go in with your marker or whatever you're using, and you're going to fill in that letter or that word with whatever shape you want. So I'm using circles here, and circles kind of give it that lighting look or marquee, sort of Broadway sign kind of vibe. And finally, you can do whatever shape you want. You can do squares or stars or hearts, but I here am doing lines. So if this makes any sense, I'm doing 3 skinny lines to replace the thick strokes. So for the E, you're going to go vertically down, but I'm filling it in with 3 skinny lines instead of 1 big one. And then now it's the horizontal little bits of that E. So I think this line gives it a really cool negative space view to your lettering, and it just looks super cool. So those are my 5 tips and tricks to spiff up your lettering, and I really hope that this video helped you to make your lettering more unique and to really help it stand out. And I hope that all of these tricks were super easy and fun to follow. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!